our second nominee this week is LivingSocial for promoting a new kind of coupon that allows you to get drunk and shoot guns, and not the other way around. So here's that story for you. LivingSocial is urged to stop promoting deals combining guns and booze. Daily deals cite LivingSocial under pressure from advocacy groups to stop promoting deals that package guns and alcohol. Our friends Credo Action and the Gun Truth Project released a report on Monday highlighting the many outings to shooting ranges and bars offered by LivingSocial all over the country. Though these packages usually begin at the shooting range and end with alcohol, the groups protest this glorification and combination of guns and drinking, and there are definitely times where, you know, people will start at a restaurant that has a bar, get a few drinks in, then go shoot, then get more drinks. And then Credo basically came out with a statement saying that in the wake of Newtown, I'd like to know how the people who own or work for LivingSocial can justify profiting from the packaging of an AK-47 shooting spree with an evening of bourbon shots. And that's from our good friend of the show, Becky Bond, Credo's political director. And she also added that the company is endangering the public health by suggesting pairing assault weapons with alcohol binges is good, clean fun. Richard, your thoughts on this one?
I support Becky. I love Becky. Becky's a good friend of the Fowler show, and a good friend of mine. And I agree with her on this one. I think you should not mix guns and alcohol, even though there's a lot of places in Virginia, where I live, where they do that. And you get, like, you know, open carry day, which is also egregious.
Yeah, open carry at the bar. It's just not a good idea.
10% off with open carry.
It's crazy. And you can get, like, free pizza and all kinds of stuff for bringing your guns around. But I think the most telling part of this argument is the fact that in gun-related homicides, 86% of the people who committed these crimes were drinking or under the influence of alcohol.
Well, and I think that's the point that Becky and Credo is trying to make here. The point they're trying to make is that alcohol decreases your judgment. We can all agree on that. So in a situation we have in the premise or the situation where you have decreased judgment, you should not be given a human killing machine, because then your judgment to kill people is just not that good.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the connotation of, you know, like shooting and drinking, the whole cultural thing, it's just really not something that, you know, LivingSocial, who I think generally professes to be a pretty ethical and forward-thinking corporation, you know, like they're generally considered like pretty hip. And this is just totally backwards for them.
No, I agree. I think it's completely and totally backwards for them. And, you know, I hope that they'll work on changing their actions. But I think to add to that, I think, you know, if you have a problem with it, you obviously shouldn't buy these LivingSocial deals. But I think beyond that point, the more, I think Credo is right on this one. This really promotes the culture of violence in this country, and it promotes the culture of violence, and then you put alcohol in it, they call the culture of irresponsibility. If you look at any alcohol ad, it always says drink responsibly, which are two things that really don't make much sense, because drinking takes away responsibility. It decreases your judgment. So how could you drink responsibly but continue? You understand what I'm trying to say, America, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'm with you on that one 100%. And I encourage our listeners, if this sounds like something you might be interested in, you can go to their website. Here is the URL, act.credoaction.com/sign/LivingSocial_guns. Once again, act.credoaction.com/sign/LivingSocial_guns, or just go to their website. We'll post it on our Twitter. If it's something that you support, I want to hear about it. If you think that we're being totally crazy and that, you know, this is all in good fun, then I want to hear that too. I mean, I think there's definitely two sides to a coin here, that, you know, maybe you're a responsible adult. If you pay for it, you should be able to do whatever you want. But, you know, in the last few weeks and months before that, we've seen the argument of responsible gun ownership really gone in the complete opposite direction, with all these stories of children getting shot. We had the man who was cleaning his gun on his front deck who shot a kid. We had the 5-year-old who shot his 2-year-old little sister with my first rifle kit. I mean, personal responsibility sounds great. It's a fantastic talking point.
It's just that. It's just words. It's just a talking point. It's not real. It doesn't make much sense. It doesn't. I'm sorry. It's nonsensical.
Yeah, I mean, there are. I do partially feel bad for people who are responsible and, you know, are using their guns for the correct things, hunting or protecting yourself, and they lock it up. And that's not who this is about. But the fact that we can offer the argument of personal responsibility to everyone across the United States just doesn't work.
And I think that's a good point, Rich. And I think you're bringing up a very good point. And the argument that, like, well, I can only speak for the Fowler Show and Fowler Nation because that's our domain. But we're not going to sit here and condemn. I think the Second Amendment belongs in the Constitution. It should stay in the Constitution, right? I believe that. But at the same, and I think Rich is right, we're not talking about those individuals that have their gun because they live in a remote, rural part of the country and it's a protection mechanism. They lock it up, or they're hunters. We're talking about the folks that have AR-15s, enough bullets to blow up the Taliban, people who are their actions with the gun are irresponsible. By the sheer fact that you have a high-capacity magazine, you're an irresponsible gun owner because you don't need that. It's just not necessary. It shows a lack of responsibility.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. And the biggest problem for me is that we hear this argument of personal responsibility tossed around a lot, but they use it as a blanket statement, saying that all gun owners are personally responsible. Exactly. The premise is that if you own a gun, you're automatically a responsible person, when in reality it should be if you're a responsible person, then it might be okay for you to own a gun.
Yeah. Thank you. They put the cart before the horse here, or the egg before the chicken before the egg.